So my dad was really that person that instilled, the personality that I have that people know so well.
Right.
The hustle that I have. He had me. I was running around selling fireworks, T-shirts, oils.
Talk about the parents putting us to work every time.
I was out here. How y'all doing? Hello. How you doing, ma'am? How you smelling?
You was one of the people selling fireworks.
I was the one making the noise in the neighborhood.
You're our first, right? Because I think about the difference.
Philly, where I am from. You are tuned into the Philly Culture Podcast. If you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on any of the episodes. I am your host, Tanja Morris, the founder of Sisters with the Agenda in Your Culture Connection. And we have Kaima Akbar, the co-host of Urban Queens. And we have came together to put on and shine a little light on Philly. The Philly Culture Podcast is here to talk about our upbringing in the city of Philadelphia and how it has birthed our hustle. Philly has some great creators, entrepreneurs, and community leaders who have been creating cultures in the city of Philadelphia for years. So stay tuned and check out some of the great people we have. And if you missed out on any episodes, make sure you go back and follow. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do so now.
All right, guys, we are live for another episode of Philly Culture Podcast, and I am one of your hosts, Tanja Morris. I'm the founder of Sisters with the Agenda and also your Culture Connection. And we are here with my co-host.
Hey, y'all, it's me, Kaima Akbar, the owner and creator of Urban Queens. And we have our special guest today, the man we know as Mr. All Money Shots. Introduce yourself. Please and thank you.
This is hilarious, but... thank you for the Mr. All Money Shots introduction. My name is Vernon Ray, and commonly known as All Money Shots.
Okay.
We should put like a montage of like stuff after that. Was that too? Never mind. Forget about it. All right, but yeah, that's that. What's going on, y'all? Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here.
No doubt.
So with the Philly Culture Podcast, we spotlight. Oh gosh. Come on, help me out.
I'm going to help her out today. All right, so the Philly Culture Podcast is all about talking about our upbringing in the city of Philadelphia. We like to spotlight entrepreneurs, creators, and community leaders. And you have done some phenomenal things here in the city, and it's about keeping the culture here in the city. So let us know a little bit about your upbringing and how that has birthed your hustle.
Cool. Well, I'm from North Philly.
Straight out of North Philly.
Strawberry Mansion section.
Represent.
You know what I mean? It was a tough time, tough era we came up in. And being from North Philly, you bred a little different. The hustle was different. How you stand up in a room is a little different. A lot of that played a part in just how I maneuvered through life growing up as a young man. Strawberry Mansion, of course, that's the high school that I went to.
Okay.
A lot of greats came through Strawberry Mansion.
Absolutely.
But that was like just rolling through the jungle with a piece of meat strapped to your neck. Like it was crazy back then. But I'm so thankful. A lot of brothers did not make it, unfortunately. A lot of people did not make it out that era. And again, I'm just thankful. You know what I mean? Art has been such a outlet for me. Even then, I remember being a part of the Murals Arts program.
Okay, and, shout out to the Mural Arts program.
Yeah, shout out to the Murals Arts program.
It's part of Philly.
They really, helped open my mind on just possibilities and allowed me to dream a little bit.
Right.
Just being able to see different types of artists create things that were straight from the head sometimes and just turn it into this big masterpiece was really amazing to me back then. It really drew me to wanting to do that. I aspired to just create limitlessly. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm in a way.
I always like to ask, what year were you in high school? What was your graduating class? I know I was the class of 2000, and there was a lot of stuff happening in the city.
Remember,
There's a lot of stuff going on in the city around that time.
You from North too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
from one North Philly into the next. I went to Diamonds and I went to Grants. Mm-hmm. So what year was it that
2001 for me.
Oh, okay.
So I was there through your entire era as well.
Right. I said from the 99 to the 2000s.
There you go.
The city was epic for me back then. I just remember everything that was going on and things like that. So who in your, your life and your upbringing kind of influenced your hustle?
So I gotta say I'm gonna say my dad. My dad has been in my life, and just watching how he transitioned from being an individual that played the streets to being a full-time dad and a great example when it came down to what we should be focused on, you know what I mean, as far as work and school and stuff like that,
That's good.
Of course, it was his first time being a dad too, so I understand that now.
Right.
It being my first time being a dad.
Right, yourself.
Shout out to my son,
Right.
Jabril. I can look back now and be like, damn, I understand why you did certain things, Pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I understand why you didn't know to do certain things as well.
Right.
Because there wasn't nobody really there to teach him. Like, his father was around, but he wasn't knowledgeable of a lot of the stuff that could have potentially put us all in a better position. So my dad was really that person that instilled, the personality that I have that people know so well.
Right.
The hustle that I have. He had me, I was running around selling fireworks, t-shirts, oils.
Talk about the parents putting us to work every time.
I was out here, how y'all doing? Hello, how you doing, ma'am? How you smelling?
You was one of the people selling fireworks.
I was the one making the noise in the neighborhood.
You're our first, right? Because I think about the different parts of Philly, and I think about the different culture, right? That's a big part of it. And we always talk about like the different hustles that our parents gave us. Our guest yesterday, her mom was selling crabs.
$2 crab bags.
$2 crab right? But we never had a guest that actually was selling the firecrackers, and we know they out there.
Yeah. I don't want that to be the demise of my career or anything, but the way this is set up, that was when I was like 9 and 10 years old.
That was you.
Not recently.
Yeah, I was young, but nah. Even in school, my stepmom, she used to work at some type of place and would always come back with like stationery stuff like that, pencils, pens, folders, and all of that. So in school, I even became a little plug for that.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you ain't got a folder? I got the blue ones right here, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? The pink one for you, sweetheart. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Right.
But I was able to provide people with things that I knew that they wanted. I understood supply and demand. I understood, just being able to get the people what they want. Even as I got older, had access to other things like cell phones, like I said, t-shirts, stuff that people was buying, and I knew how to get it off. I knew how to deal with people.
Right.
So my dad really instilled a lot of that in me, to understand how to grind. A lot of his friends were the same way. They used to make, y'all remember those medallions, those little African medallions with the beads?
Yeah,
so we used to make them Jones. We used to be making those in the basement.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the earrings,
so
the little
odd.
metal earrings. Man, the little soldering thing making the earrings. Oh my goodness.
Everybody had one.
Yeah,
right.
It was a lot of that going on around me, and I never knew how much that was going to play a part in my life as I grew up.
Yeah.
I felt like I was molded to not have to work a 9 to 5 type thing.
Yeah.
I became a person that could put his blinders on and just go get it.
Right.
Understood how important consistency was, how important customer service was, stuff like that. So that really sent me in that hustling direction.
Yeah. So a big part of what we do here is just trying to give our youth exposure, is that no matter what neighborhood you came from, north, south, east, west, the bottom, shout out to the bottom.
Shout out to the bottom. 36 in Fairmount. I used to live over there. So.
Uptown, I'm an uptown, Germantown, Dogtown, South, that crew.
Worcester. You know what I'm saying? What they call it? Brickyard, right?
Brickyard. All
I
of
can't
that
say I'm
crew.
from there, but I definitely lived there for over 10 years.
Listen, exactly. And we like to just let them know that no matter what your path was then, you still have the opportunity to make it and be something and do something productive. So was there any hardships in your life that you had to overcome, that coming out of it kind of just pushed you? Because we talked about that, about like that resilience and that grit. And sometimes when you make some mistakes, that's what really pushes you in your business and your career to like never want to go back. So was there anything that you experienced in your life that kind of just helped you pivot? You talked about fatherhood, but was there anything else?
Yeah, it was. It was a few things. Coming out of high school, I didn't go right to college. I had a girl pregnant had a young lady pregnant. A few years later, found out the baby wasn't mine. Oh, wow. I decided to not go to college because I'm thinking, yo, I got to take care of this baby. I want to do all this, all of that. I wanted to be an architect. I don't know where that came from. I just thought, like, I just want to create dope buildings and dope layouts. And it was what they got paid was really exciting for me as well. So I said, I want to be an architect. However, that dream got crushed early because I decided to be grown. At least I thought I was being grown. Years later, once I found out that, the child wasn't mine, I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I don't want to go to college still. I think it's a waste of money. School is good for the direction you're going in. You want to go in, right? You learn what you need to learn to be able to get whatever job you want to get done, correct? So I'm not against learning. You know what I'm saying? Maybe college itself, but for me, it just wasn't for me, right?
It's not for everybody.
As time went forward, I said, I'm going to follow behind my dad's footsteps. My dad ended up becoming a police officer. He went from a security guard to becoming a police officer. Already had 20 plus years in the military. So all of that stuff was like in him. So I always would see it, and I was always straight, up and down with how I looked as well. And I'm like, you know what, let me go ahead and follow his path. So I took the test to be a police officer. I passed the test. My father ended up getting called to go away to the war. There was a war going on at the time, and it was in Kosovo at the time. He ended up, being called away. And when he got called away, he entrusted me in some things, some things in the house to really hold the house down. One thing led to another. I found myself indulging in just other activities that wasn't following the law, law-abiding. I was working as a security officer myself. I started to get less hours. I started to feel like, yo, man, I need money. I'm this, that, and the other. Things just started getting rough. You know what I'm saying? My neighbor ended up, getting shot up 11 times or something like that. Somebody, one of the cats, it just got real crazy for me. Individuals started putting me in situations I had nothing to do. I wasn't never even that type of dude, but things just started getting dark real fast. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, I ended up getting in some trouble. Found myself having to do some time, and I did 3 years upstate, 6 months in a halfway house. Got sentenced to 3.5 to 8, 3.5 to 7 years. Before that, I was looking at 16 to 32 years. When I tell you how afraid I was, it was my first time ever being locked up or in any kind of trouble. It really woke me up. It was such a wake-up call. You know what I'm saying? I got to say to any of the young boys, man, like, don't wait until it's your turn to be woken up. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't see the mistake happening to somebody else and learn from that.
Other people's experiences.
Because when it was my turn, all because of the decisions I decided to make, when I tell you, it wasn't no getting out of that.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I was awakened by that. So going upstate, doing my time, how I did it, I just stood tall and accepted the fact that, I did the crime, I'm gonna do the time. You know what I mean? I ended up beating the larger charge, which got me lesser time. So when I beat that in court, that lesser time, I had to agree to it. There was no other way around it. Is everything all right? My bad. He's moving a lot. Shout out to Big Bro behind the camera, man. He's moving a lot, pulling his glasses down, looking unsure. I wasn't sure either. I was like, hey, wait a minute. But hold up. But as I got the lesser time, I had opportunity to sit with myself a lot. You know what I mean? I'm not even gonna say act like I didn't cry, cause I did.
And that's okay. You should.
I did. I cried not out of fear, but out of anger, because I knew better.
Disappointment.
Super disappointed in myself. I let my dad down, let my family down. You know what I mean? At the time, my son's mother was pregnant with him, and he was born right before I went in.
Oh,
You understand what I'm saying? So my first 3 years of his life, I was in prison.
Oh, gosh, right.
He visited me, and she brought him up to visit me in prison. But at the time, I just didn't even want to get to know him when he was born because I felt so disappointed in myself. I'm like, he ain't even gonna know me. Man, this is crazy. I was just upset. But, you know, fast forward, the time happened. I went up there, I went to school, you know, I worked out a lot. I went upstate, 180. Came home probably like 2:30 at the time. I ain't gonna tell you what I weigh now. Yeah, everything just changed. I was a whole different person. But the most important part was I got a chance to know who I was. And what I wanted. You know what I mean? And it was so life altering that I just started to preach to other people positive ways of thinking and how to adjust their mind and you know, how to get focused on certain things. You know, when I finally got the opportunity to touch down and come home, I remember when I came home into that halfway house, I was looking around at everything. I'm like, man, all of these people have the same amount of time, you know, like they've been on the streets this entire time and still in the same place.
Right.
I would not allow that to be me as I came home. The first decision that I made when I touched down was that I'm never going back to prison. Never going back to prison. Today, people don't even think I ever been to prison. They like, oh, this dude, nah, he ain't even that type. You know what I'm saying? He might hurt you, but he ain't that type of boy to go to prison. But that's good. You know what I'm saying? It took a lot of adjustment. I was angry. I was an angry young man in my younger years. A lot of people either knew or they didn't know. You'd be glad you didn't know. For those that do know, I apologize. You know what I mean? Because I really didn't know how to express myself as much. If it wasn't through art, through sports or something like that, I just really didn't know how to express myself. Again, Pop was at work as I got older. You know what I'm saying? He showed me what I needed to know, but that's why I say I knew better. You know what I'm saying? Still kept a roof over my head, but he had me working since I was 15 years old. 14, 15 years old. Remember them little summer camp jobs and all that?
Absolutely.
My grandma was heavy on that. Baby, come on over here.
$90 a week.
Yeah, we're going to go on ahead and fill out this paperwork now. Go and take that and bring your birth certificate.
Blue card, your
working papers.
Yeah, your working papers.
Yeah. So that was me. I was working papers hard, early. Grandma had that early.
I took my mom to go, you got to take me to go get mine.
You know what?
Right at Ben Franklin? Well, no, the school district. Next to Ben Franklin.
Yeah, I remember
go to Ben Franklin. But I think, like I said, it's important, like you just said, a lot of people today will never know that was part of your story.
Big facts.
And I want the kids to know that just because, even if you've been there, if you haven't been there, because I service kids, 30 and under. You know what I'm saying? So I have seen them grow. I have seen them go to jail. I have seen them come home. You know, we have a young man that's coming on the Philly Culture podcast. He been in youth placement, jail, in and out his life, and he knows that there's still opportunities for him.
Absolutely.
There's and it's crazy because that's what he talks about, my mindset and not being in my emotions and making better decisions, and seeing somebody like you will motivate them to know that it's possible. Me telling them, I can tell you it's possible, but sometimes you got to see it. So talk a little bit about Creative Mind Productions. How did that come about? Because you know, from the man that you was to the man that you are today, it took some work to get here. But the thing that I love about the services that you provide is that you look out for so many different people in your industry and you help people on. Shout out to you for sponsoring the Philly Culture Podcast and putting this production together, and just seeing people and seeing that there's an opportunity and I can help you maximize on that opportunity with my gifts and my your ability.
I gotta say, one thing that before I get into where Creative Mind Productions came from, one thing that I want to say is that I've always wanted to provide a situation that wasn't provided for me. Like I want to provide opportunity that wasn't provided for me as I was coming up. Because when I was coming up, trying to build this business, I remember the days people just didn't know who I was. I remember the days that individuals would just look at me like he's just the cameraman, the guy with the camera, and they wouldn't even acknowledge me on any level that was you know, respectful. It seemed like. So I always wanted to provide a place for people to have access to things that they wouldn't typically have access to, and just the ability to take that big step forward that can really change their lives. Like I wanted to create space for that as well. Creative Mind Productions came from when I was in prison, believe it or not, you know. And like I said early on, I'm an artist. I draw, I paint, I do things like that. When I was upstate, my hustle was, I used to draw portraits and birthday cards and just greeting cards.
Was that boy sitting all the...
I was the boy. I was one of them guys.
Oh, the portrait track guy.
I was one of them guys.
I seen the plenty of them.
Listen, I used to sell them joints for what was it? What was it?
Make this for my girl.
1 for 7, 2 for 12, something like
Sorry,
that.
Mom, I got a couple
1
of
for 7, 2 for 12. I was killing them.
Sorry, Mom,
You know what I mean?
That's inside.
And we was talking oodles and noodles and snacks and
Listen,
goodies
I always
and
used to
envelopes.
think, like, who is making these?
That was the
Like
money,
that.
yeah. So I would with the money that I made in there, you know what I'm saying, the money that was being sent, I would order like art supplies, you know what I'm saying. I ended up even purchasing a guitar while I was upstate. I learned how to play the guitar too. So I played the guitar a little bit. Yeah, learn how to play the guitar.
They let you have it?
Yeah. It was this old head in the yard. I used to hear him. He used to be playing. It was so smooth. I used to walk around like, I like that song, but I ain't gonna say nothing to him. I ain't gonna say nothing to him.
That sound good.
Because it was sounding too smooth.
Right?
You don't want to be like, hey brother, how you doing, man? Let me
Up
you
in
know
the yard.
So I walk back around like, that's a good song too.
Right.
Go back around again. One day I just said, you know what, I'm gonna go on over there. So I went over there. And he's like, hey, young brother, you play? I said, no, but I'm trying to learn, man. That sound good. He was like, yeah, go on, sit on down, man. Listen to this. What you think about this? He started playing a little bit. And I'm like, dang, that joint sounds smooth. He said, go ahead, here you go, man. Go on, try. I said, no, man, I don't want to. That's your guitar. I don't want to take your guitar, bro. But once I touched that guitar,
It was over.
he don't even realize he inspired me.
Wow.
That's why I always say, you put the kids in the right place with the right type of inspiration, anything is possible.
Right, definitely.
I'm trying to tell you, this is why our program, Shoot Cameras Not Guns, I know we'll get into that, but this is why it's important for things to be a hands-on experience. It's important for them to get involved in the capacity of them having to make that conscious decision to hit the button or zoom in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once he put that guitar in my hand, it was a wrap. It was on. So I purchased me a guitar and I walk around with glasses like him.
Yeah, just want to
Singing
look like
songs.
him. You know what?
I didn't want to be like him, but it was just the vibe at the time. Yeah, it was the energy. I thought this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to wear glasses with these.
Oh, gosh.
So moving on, Creative Mind Productions again was created in prison. I used to write Creative Mind Productions at the bottom of my artwork all the time.
Nice. Okay.
I would go to the library. I would copy the original, and I should have kept the original and gave them the copy, but I did the opposite.
Okay.
But I keep a book with all of the different portraits that I've drawn over the years, and I always go back to them and I look at them. I'm like, man, I remember this day. I remember that day. I remember the guy, his face. He used to love Aaliyah. I remember his girlfriend passed away with the kid, and I drew them. I remember this was such and such dad. I just remember those times, and those nostalgic moments keep me grounded.
Yeah,
keep me in understanding that the wrong decision can put me back there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The wrong mindset could keep me there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So one thing that I gotta say to all of the kids is, strength is not in only just the physical, but the strongest man you'll ever meet is the man that can control himself under some of the most strenuous situations.
Yes, definitely.
So that's the part right there that a lot of children and even young men, young adults need to understand.
Yeah.
Don't just build your muscles up in the gym. Build your mind up, your heart up, you know what I'm saying, your soul, your belief, you know what I'm saying, not only just in yourself but in God. Like, you got to just be rounded very, very well in order to understand how not to respond to some situations.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answered your question on where Creative Mind Productions came from. It was all over the place.
was a
So
creator.
tell us a little bit.
You the creator.
So tell us a little bit what you have been able to do with your camera in the city of Philadelphia, and you have experience because you do a little bit of everything.
Man, oh man.
That has added to the culture.
Yeah. Believe it or not, you know, it's definitely levels to this, first and foremost. So, one of the I've done a lot of things in the city. Yes. When I first got involved with doing photography, I started in the clubs. A lot of the cool stuff that these young shooters are doing and seeing now was originated somewhere, right? You know what I mean? The style of shooting, how to shoot, what to shoot, all of those things came from trial and error when I first was starting, which turned into a trend after a while. And shortly, you know, years later, it turned into these cats need something to look up to. Here's the reference. You know what I mean? I didn't realize, and a lot of times you don't realize when you become the reference.
Right.
You know what I mean? The time you put in, the consistency, the creativity, you become the reference. You know what I mean? That's like when the first loaf of bread was made. You know what I'm saying? Who would have known? Stromans would have came with the other loaf. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wonder.
Blow it up. Yeah, Stromans locked in with Wonder. Like, I mean, you seen what Wonder was doing. You dig what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So that's really amazing to see now. But I started off in the clubs from Pinnacle, Shampoo, 923,
take it back,
27. Like, come on. I mean, like, we can keep going.
Was you nightlife? That was you.
Nightlife link wasn't me. No.
Okay.
I actually came after nightlife.
Okay.
But when I tell you, I locked in with promoters like Concrete Brand, Coco, PC. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to the owners of Reserve. You know what I mean? Which was called. What was it? Lux Lounge. It was called Lux Lounge. You know what I'm saying? It was also Recess at one point, wasn't it?
Recess.
No, Recess was on 2nd Street.
Now listen, I get them all.
Recess was on 2nd Street though.
I'm thinking 8th Street Lounge. Like,
8th Street Lounge. I used to be up in there, like.
Because I know that was the joint on Sundays.
Yeah, I remember. I used to be at all of the clubs, all of the biggest parties. That was my thing. Outside of that, I came in the very beginning of what Kyree started, which is called Kyree Terrell. You know what I mean? Shout out to Kyree Terrell, big bro right there. He started this thing called My New Philly. You know what I'm saying? I came in the very beginning of that, which allowed me to just play this, you know, leadership role. I had to humble myself at first to come in and learn his ways first. And I was able to rise in the ranks and be able to be one of his go-to guys to be around for everything, like the DNC. When the DNC was here in Philadelphia, we shot the DNC. We actually were Emmy nominated for pieces that we created, you know, of Philip A. Randolph High School, I believe it is. That was my first time at the Emmys, which was crazy. You know what I mean? Outside of that, I was able to... for 3 years in a row, I was the official photographer for the Philadelphia Soul, the football team. You know what I mean? I was official photographer for them. I had opportunities working with Malcolm Jenkins for the Malcolm Jenkins Foundation. They hired me several times. The Food Bank of South Jersey, I was their go-to photographer and videographer for 2 years in a row. Let me see, there's so many. You know what I mean?
Power 99.
Power 99 as well. I've been shooting a come-up show. I've been shooting a come-up show for almost 8 years with DJ Cosmic Kev, the official videographer for Powerhouse itself. I was able last year to bring on several teammates to actually get paid. See, typically you don't come in right off the bat and get paid to work Powerhouse. But I was able to get them a check this year. I mean, the following year, or the year that just passed. So. Shout out to Derek for that, for putting that play together, man. Man, it's so many different things, but now where we are more in a teaching space now. My brother and I started an organization called Shoot Cameras, Not Guns. One of the other givebacks that we have already started years before Shoot Cameras, Not Guns, which is called the 40 Shots for $40 Special. Right? And I'm gonna be quick with it because I'm sure time is of the essence. But 40 Shots for $40 special was created as a way for us to be able to keep the entrepreneurial community thriving.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We wanted to be able to provide them with something that wasn't going to be too strenuous on their pocket, but on our side, we were going to still give you that high quality that was needed to take that step forward.
Yes.
So typically the shoots are $450 or more, but we're giving just that for $40.
And the pictures are phenomenal.
They are.
And it's so crazy because this year, so many people from the Sisters with the Agenda Village was able to benefit. I think my girlfriends is coming back for the third time.
Shout out to your girlfriends for that. Real
Shout out to Helena. They coming back for the third time.
Oh, yeah,
Queen Mothers is coming
yes.
back for the second
Folks,
time.
yes.
And even
Great
you
folks right
provide
there.
an opportunity. One of my girlfriends, she sells the pudding, and you let her come in when it's busy days to sell the pudding. So just continuing to give them different opportunities for exposure. So not just even limited it to just that photo shoot, but that photo shoot. For me, I still got my photos for 2 years ago that I used.
And they was awesome.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy
no
you say that. I gotta say
no
this
editing.
though.
I didn't get no editing.
I gotta say this. Sometimes we be shooting ourselves in the foot here. Sometimes, because certain people still use their shots from the first time. And I'm like, man, I want you to come back. I'm like, man, I don't need you to come back. These work still.
Refresh.
So
No, trust and believe. My husband just said, you need to get another photo. I'm tired of looking at the
tired of looking at this one.
I'm tired of looking at the photo. And I'm mad that I can't find the collection. I've been trying to look for your email.
Oh,
like,
man.
where the collection is.
I could probably help you with that and get you your shots.
I'm going to just do another
Just come
one.
on and do another one.
I gotta get me one in too. This will be my first one. So I need you to do my real estate shots. I need some headshots for that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Another thing with the 40 for 40, I'm gonna tell you, we also use the 40 for 40 as an opportunity for a lot of people to come through our program to have that hands-on learning experience to be able to also create some work opportunity for them. You know what I mean? So we do hire them to come on in and help us out during the 40 for 40 and be able to put to use some of the skill sets that they've learned in our program. So we got that revolving door type of situation, that whole cycle of we teach you how to get this money. Now we put you in a position to make this money. You do with it as you may after that. You know what I mean? We give you all the tools. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we even provide cameras to some of them, full out equipment necessary for them to be able to make some money, even partnership, you know, later down the line. And we partnered with some of our students in their efforts to build their business and expand their business. So we just try to make sure that we just are here to help, and that's how we bring it. You know, we make it it's a family type of situation, and we're here to help.
So before we let you go, let's talk a little bit more about shoot cameras, not guns.
Sorry. I'm just playing.
Not guns.
Whoa, so violent in here. No,
it was a really big, powerful campaign. I know a couple of my students signed up. So talk about the mission behind it and what you're doing with the mission.
So Shoot Cameras, Not Guns, CMP is really what it's called, right? And the mission behind it was just to provide entry-level photography and videography skills to individuals, you know what I'm saying, that individuals who was looking for alternative as opposed to being out in these streets and running down, you know what I'm saying? We always say, let's make the mom smile instead of cry, you know what I mean? So Shoot Cameras, Not Guns, or even the reason why it even started was because, you know, it was something we were already doing. It just wasn't called Shoot Cameras, Not Guns. We was already mentoring, already doing photo walks, already just doing the workshops and all of that stuff. You know, those are all the things that Shoot Cameras, Not Guns is.
Right.
Sorry.
It's all good. You want to wait?
Oh, you can end it. I don't know why they calling me. I don't like
It's all good. It's all good. But you done answered it. It's all good. So Shoot Cameras, Not Guns, again, those are all the things that we offer, right? I lost my train of thought just that fast, but I got it. Let me catch it. Hold on. The way that it started. Unfortunately, I lost two family members. You know, they were a part of Shoot Cameras, Not Guns early on. And just seeing where they was like our first clients, kind of. You know what I'm saying? They was out there in the streets a little bit, and we're like, yo, let's test this out on some family. Let's see how this really works. You know what I'm saying? So we bring them around, getting them involved. You know what I'm saying? I could just remember how I went down. You know what I mean? It was just super unfortunate. It's sad that it had to take for me to lose somebody to actually do something. And I tell people this all the time, like, yo, you're already doing things. You know what I'm saying? Just put a name on it and make it towards the cause, towards the solution. You understand what I'm saying? You can braid hair instead of shooting guns. You can you know what I'm saying, fix cars instead of shooting guns. It could be anything. Absolutely. And that's what I really be trying to help people understand. Even when folks was trying to run with the name, I'm like, man, take the name, but we doing the work. It don't even matter. Like, the work is what matters. You know what I'm saying? The real help that we're providing is what matters. It's not about just running with the popular name. The name is only for me to grab you in, so I can show you what we're able to do to help. That's it. But
it's already a part of the mission.
Yeah, it turned into a crazy situation because of that, because of the name was so popular, and you know, we was getting so much light off of it. I'm like, y'all losing track on what the mission is. You know what I mean? And I used to get very frustrated. My team would tell you, you know, I'd just be ready to just throw everything and be done, because I'm like, yo, it's not about that. If anybody approaching us about just money,
it's not it.
You get what I'm saying? So we still pressing on. If people donate to help us keep these workshops going and keep the lights on in here, that's cool. If they don't, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? We are really pushing to make a difference and be able to be there for these young cats when they got questions, when they curious about what other jobs are out there coming into our program. We are just trying to make sure that we stand tall and just be that person that if their legs ain't strong enough, you got this shoulder to hold on to until they are. Makes sense? Because a lot of them be weak in the legs and they never even used their legs before. For real, when we talking about life. And they just got to be shown how to stand tall.
And the thing that I loved about it was you didn't have to have a camera. You was also teaching them with their phones.
With their phones.
So just giving them the opportunity, like, whatever resource you have, we can start there. You know, so shout out to you. Shout out to the team.
Shout out to the team.
Shout out to the team. Because like I said, in that time I was going through grief and loss of students. So when it happened and I was able, and I have one young man, he came to one of the workshops and he's still doing it. He actually did my first video shoot in photography with my company. And you know, just to put him in a position, you know what I'm saying? And then now, like, certain people ask me and I refer him, you know, and he's killing the game. Shout out to Twine.
Shout out to Twine. Let's go, Twine. Let's go, Twine.
I was going to ask, like, how do you scout for the people that are in your program?
They find me.
They find you?
They find me. That's how I know is divine. You know what I'm saying? They find us, and they are here in the duration that they're supposed to be, meaning like they're here just as long as they need to be. I guess to learn whatever they need to learn. Because once I teach you the basics, there's really nothing more I can teach you. Everything else is all dependent on you. It's like, how bad do you want it? You know what I'm saying? So that's really how that goes. Like, when they come through, I still leave my line open for them to call me after that. You know what I mean? To check in, to pop up, get busy with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's opportunity. I can't be as great as I want to be alone. That's why we got a team. Now, welcome to the team. If you really want to get down, here's your CMP shirt. Let's go. You feel me?
And just to be clear, it's not just for the youth.
No, it's not.
I just want people to be.
Oh, wow.
It's not just for the youth. And I see you giving other people opportunities. You know, one of the things you do with the 40 for 40s is you always do the lives, and you have different people come on and giving people opportunity to network. You know, the exposure to, you know, use your network to help their network, which is something that we do here in the city of Philadelphia. So this is the whole point of the Philly Culture Podcast, is just showing you that we are here to support each other. The village is here. If you want to do the work, we're going to give you opportunities. We're going to put you in certain places and positions And that's one of the things that you do really, really well. And I know that some of my sisters, they're just like amazed, like, oh my goodness, T, you know, and he just has a good heart.
Right,
and actually, we got a meeting set up with one of my other sisters, you know, and just to continue to see the village grow just by giving people different opportunities that they may not have been able to afford. Or even in your mentorship, like it's not just about the use of the cameras. Like you said, it's about a mindset that you're also teaching as well.
And that's super important. That mindset. It goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can close it out. We gotta leave.
No, I had to cue her because she would have been
I was trying to figure it out, but okay. So, Vern, tell us how we can find you, where we can find you, what platforms, and what we have to look forward from you in the future.
Well, some of the places where you can find, I'm talking to the camera. So some of the places you can find me, if you are looking on Instagram, it's at All Money Shots, one word, All Money Shots. You can also check out the website. It's shootcamerasnotgunscmp.com. That's shootcamerasnotgunscmp.com. You can go there on the website and see some of the workshops that we do offer. You even can book the 40 shots for $40 special from the website as well. That's only if the dates are available. It's only available the first quarter of the year and also the third quarter of the year. So if you miss it, you might have to wait a few months. So make sure you lock in and check us out. What else did you ask?
What can we look forward to?
Okay, what can you look forward? Yes. All right, cut that part out though. To look forward, I think some things to look forward to is more collaborations.
Yeah.
More collaborations, more opportunity for people to be employed by us, Creative Mind Productions. More workshops. I told you we are going in the direction of teaching. And that right there is growing as we speak. I have a few opportunities now to teach at a few different programs, provide some workshops at these programs. So, let's look forward to see more of that. I would love to do more interviews and kind of, get people more aware of the things that we do.
Yes.
So, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Tap in. Say you want to do some interviews, y'all. So tap in.
Hey.
Help expand and amplify the mission, the message, and the story.
Even career days.
Yes. Listen, you want to come on. I'm ready. I'll send you the link tonight, okay?
Say less.
Don't tell me twice.
don't.
Listen, before I leave,
you will have the link.
Because I think that it's important for us to show up for the village and just let the village know what's really happening in the city of Philadelphia. The media will put on a negative condescent of what is happening, but the Philly Culture Podcast is here to show you that it is so much brotherly love, sisterly affection, so much collaboration, so much. It's not competition. We want to see each other win and put each other in position. And we're bringing so much culture here to the city. We're not leaving the city. We hear so many people talk about, I got to get my family up out of here. No, instead, we want to shift the narrative. We want to take back our community one opportunity at a time. But there's so many people doing phenomenal things, and that's what the Philly Culture Podcast is here to do. So thank you all for tuning in. You can find us on all streaming platforms, and we will be back with some more episodes. So stay tuned. Y'all got some good stuff coming on. So shout out to Creative Minds Production for supporting us tonight, sponsoring us. We have some great things coming, so y'all better stay tuned. All right?
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank y'all for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
No doubt.
That's a wrap.
Yes.